when I get contacted about some questions about whistling, it made me laugh because it's ridiculous.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
The funniest part about this entire situation, for me at least, I don't know about you, but for me, is looking back at some of these AJ Hinch press conferences and interviews and how kind of like arrogant he was in response to the allegations. I mean, man, you don't have a job.
I roll my eyes at it, but I do think probably people need to sweep their own front porch and deal with their own situations more than throw allegations around that are unfounded. So I don't know if it's a personal vendetta or you guys have sources that are giving you information. I suggest they put their name by it if they're so passionate about it to comment about my team or my players. There's nothing going on.
The sign-stealing allegations have come to an end. We now know what's going down with the Houston Astros. $5 million fine. They will lose their first and second round pick in both the 2020 and 2021 drafts. General Manager Jeff Luhnow and manager of the team, AJ Hinch, are both suspended an entire year. The Astros need to go out and get a general manager and a manager. As a result of the suspensions, owner Jim Crane has actually fired both the general manager and the head coach. So the one-year suspension is really only going to apply to these other teams that could maybe bring those guys in. They're no longer associated with the Houston Astros. Rob Manfred did mention in the press release on MLB.com that Jim Crane, the owner of the team, was fully cooperative with everything they had to do with their investigation, and that Jim Crane was completely innocent and had no idea what was going on. This is all front office personnel. Jim Crane being entirely innocent and not knowing which players you can really point the finger at in terms of involvement is probably why they didn't have any titles stripped. These are hefty fines. I know a lot of people wanted to see more, but this is a huge penalty. I mean, we've never seen a manager or general manager get suspended for an entire season before. They're losing 4 picks in the top 60. What? They're losing 2 picks within the top 60 in back-to-back seasons. That's massive. And this isn't even done. Alex Cora was a coach with the Houston Astros when they won the World Series. Right after they won the World Series, he went to Boston, took a head coaching job with the Red Sox, and they won the World Series the following season. They're now under investigation for these same type of things. We don't have all the details on exactly what the Red Sox were doing yet. That investigation is still ongoing. But Alex Cora looks to be the guy who really spearheaded this whole thing and set it up with the Astros, and now they're under investigation in Boston for similar stuff. I mean, things are not looking good for Alex Cora. He's probably going to get a massive suspension or fine in the future. They said that they're going to make a decision on him once the Red Sox investigation is done. So we're not done with this. I wouldn't be surprised if there are other teams doing weird stuff. We're going to probably get new policies get put in place going into next season. This is crazy. It's one of the craziest things that's ever happened in Major League Baseball. Now it's time for Twitter thoughts. Your thoughts on the situation, my replies to you. If you'd like to be featured in this part of the videos moving forward, make sure you're following me on Twitter at @RealShelfy, and I will gladly get you guys involved in the videos. Anytime crazy news like this drops, I like getting dialogue with people on social media, and I would love to bring that to YouTube and get you guys involved in the video. So definitely jump in on that. Now, let's get into these thoughts. Maple Leafs fan actually had a pretty interesting comment that I agree with to an extent. Imagine your kid cheated on a test. You got 100%, but you still get to keep that mark. The punishment is we will take your tools away to help you from studying on the next test. The Astros are that kid. Now, I understand the reference. It's just impossible to pinpoint which players were willing participants in what happened. They're gonna have to come down on the people that put the video cameras, this whole situation with the cameras in the media room and relaying that information. The people who put this together are the ones that are gonna take the brunt of the penalties. You can't hold the entire, what are they going to suspend every single player that was on the team? I guarantee you that there were players in that locker room that weren't participating in it. Some guys don't want to hear banging in the background while they're hitting. It's going to mess up their routine. I'm sure that there were plenty of people on the team that would rather just do things organically. There were guys that probably were trying to use it to get an edge, but either way, this is something that was implemented by the coaching staff in the front office, not the individual players. And again, like I also mentioned, a lot of these guys had better road splits that season, so it wasn't exactly a direct telling thing. I don't know. It's a very sticky situation, but when it comes to the players, it's a weird gray area where you can't penalize everyone because you don't know for sure who was participating in it. I like the hypothetical though. I like the thought process on that one. 2 years of 2 rounds of draft picks seems pretty outside the box. I know, right? It seems like they were just thinking of things they could do to strip this team of anything without stripping the titles or coming after the players. I kind of like it though. It's a lot, man. 4 top 60 picks it's a lot. It's a lot. Joe Berg says every team cheats, was just Houston's turn to get caught. I don't know if every team was going that far. We'll see. Time will tell. We'll see what these other investigations have to say about it. But I don't think every team was going to that extent. Landon says Alex Cora deserves a lot of punishment for being both organizations that cheated. Either the Red Sox should let him go while they can, or he should step down himself. Imagine Alex Cora gets fired before anything, or steps down before anything even happens. I mean, you have to know that a 1-year ban or more is coming, right? Angry Mets fan living up to his name. Nothing short of stripping them of the title was going to be enough, and they can't do that because sign stealing has been in the sport forever. So while they went above and beyond what I thought they would, I still think 29 other teams would pay that price for a title. You're probably right, but I do think that what the Astros did was a little bit more than just sign stealing. They went that extra mile. They were relaying information to players before they even knew what was going. I mean, knowing what pitch is coming is half the battle in Major League Baseball. If you steal that organically with your own eyes, if you're picking up a pitcher's tell, or you pick up signs when you're at second base and you do it organically with your own eyes or a coach's eyes, that's where sign stealing has been around forever. Putting video cameras in the field, zoomed in on guys' hands, coaches' hands, and then banging on walls to let them know what's coming. That is full blown. That's where the line has to be drawn. You have to do it organically, or it's just not the same. My man Mike Dro said they needed more ticks taken. This was actually a popular reply. That's why I'm picking this one out. They needed more picks taken for when they can't afford their core. While I wouldn't have really been mad at them adding more picks in, I do want to highlight 2 picks at the top of the draft back-to-back years is a lot. We're talking about 4 players that would be getting drafted in the top 60 in back-to-back drafts. Those are like potential stud players that you could land on. That is a big deal. It will hurt them drastically, I promise you. It is worse than it looks on paper, those draft picks. That's brutal. Now, here's a comment I got from someone anonymously. They did not want their name put in the video, but they said I could use the comment if I liked, and I thought this was a really interesting take. It's pretty long. Every fan would give up 4 draft picks, $5 million, and losing their GM and manager for a year for a World Series. Fact. Meaning that this punishment is not a deterrent for other teams, meaning it's a bad punishment. With the firings, Manfred looks worse. Both guys are effectively banned from the sport because who would hire them? Therefore, Manfred should have just banned both guys. It was going to happen anyway. The punishment would be far harsher and an actual deterrent. Looking at it from that perspective, it's kind of true. When it comes to the suspension aspect of this and coming after AJ Hinch and the general manager, they definitely could have been a little bit more harsh. 1 year is a lot. We've never seen that before. But, I mean, he's right. Effectively, these guys are going to be banned from baseball regardless anyway. So why not just drop the hammer on him the same way that they dropped the hammer on Pete Rose all them years ago? This is completely tarnishing the name of baseball if this type of thing were to continue. So you have to come down hard. I do think they came down hard. I think losing of the draft picks is probably the biggest thing. Now that, I don't know, maybe now that I think about it with the GM and the coach not even being there anymore, maybe they should have lost more draft picks than they did. I do think that it was a harsh come down though. Hopefully it's enough of a penalty to prevent other people from doing it. Time will tell on that, and we will of course get more answers with Alex Cora when this Boston Red Sox allegation investigation comes to a close. But let me know down below, guys, what are your thoughts? If you don't follow me on Twitter and you didn't get to comment on Twitter, go comment in the YouTube comments right now. Let me know your thoughts on this entire situation. I'm gonna go change my wallpaper now. That was just here for visual effect. This has just been a crazy news day. Absolute chaos in Major League Baseball today. It's wild. This news is nuts. And again, we still have this ongoing investigation with the Red Sox. I'm sure there's other teams that were doing similar stuff that we're going to hear about. This is not over by any means. We just got a finalized penalty on the Houston Astros. So that's the news for today. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace. It's been out for a couple of days now, and I'm excited to finally jump into a March to October. If you're still on the fence about this mode, don't be. I've been watching other content creators and streamers play this mode. I got my hands on it in San Diego when I went out early. This mode is legitimately fun, especially if you're a franchise guy, you don't necessarily like Diamond Dynasty, this is for you. There's also Diamond Dynasty rewards within this mode, so if you're a Diamond Dynasty guy,